In this video, I will give you my 5 Facebook ad learnings from 2024 after having spent millions of dollars on paid advertising for my client portfolio. I will give you an insight into what I see working till this date based on the cases that I have been collaborating with in 2024 and having worked with e-commerce stores all over the world whilst being located in Scandinavia and more specifically Denmark. The only purpose of this video is that my learnings from 2024 will give you an insight into how you can optimize your own paid advertising, optimize your efficiency, and also as well optimize your profitability. So without further ado, let's just get going with the 5 learnings that I have taken with me. The first learning that I wanted to talk about is creatives and offer slash product game. And what I mean by that is that if you as an advertiser slash e-commerce owner have dialed in your creative strategy, have creatives that actually resonate with your audience and essentially engage with your audience, and also creatives that essentially makes that specific audience stay on the platform that they actually advertise, whether that be Meta, TikTok, whatever. And you then have an offer with product market fit, incredibly high perceived value, and great unit economics. You are going to make sales. Is almost as simple as that. There is a bunch of other elements going into it as well. Don't get me wrong, but if you have these two leverage points dialed in, you are going to make sales because these are the two levers, or these are the biggest levers that you can pull in order to actually optimize your paid advertising to make sales at a profit. And when I say creatives, I mean that you have a diverse portfolio of creatives. So some of your creatives are more top of funnel, reaching a more unaware slash problem aware audience or whatever, where another majority of your creatives are more bottom of funnel focused, reaching a mere product and most aware audience that essentially are better at converting traffic but not as good as prospecting and essentially expanding your funnel, etc. And then having an offer, as I said, with great unit economics, high perceived value, resonate with your audience, and product market fit. Then you will essentially make sale, and that's also something that I see universally across every single brand that I'm working with. The second learning is trends slash market forces slash seasons are indispensable. So plan your budget based on that. What I see e-commerce owners do is that they essentially just plan their budget flatline throughout the entire year and then essentially bump it up when we reach Q4 with Black Friday, Black Week, Christmas, and all of these, you know, and all of these periods that we essentially have when it comes to Q4. But what I'm actively doing for the brands that I work with, and then what I also advise on, is that every single brand that spends money on paid advertising needs to structure the budget for the year in terms of their high seasons, because market forces and trends essentially adjust the rate of consumer behavior, and also makes it easier for you to actually do better in the seasons that matches your brand. So as an example could be that if you are a brand that's selling something which is highly giftable, well, a angle of Valentine's Day could be amazing. It could also be Father's Day, Mother's Day, and all of these seasons that we have outside of Q4 that essentially adjust, or essentially, what's the word that I'm looking for? Change consumer behavior. And if you as a brand can match all of those seasons throughout the year, not just Q4, and also adjust your budget based on that, you will see a lot better performance if you benchmark what your performance have been in that year where you have been doing so, and what your performance have been the prior year where you probably haven't been doing so. So that's a learning that I have taken with me, and something that I have seen work extremely well. And an example could be when we talk about trends. An example could be the Hawk 2 meme that went really viral here in 2024. If you as an advertiser just a week or a few days after that meme started running ads with that meme for your particular brand, you would have seen incredible results because it was a trend slash market force that was active in the marketplace. The third learning that I have taken with me from 2024 is that it's a lot easier to raise your average order value instead of tearing your hair out in the hope of lowering your customer acquisition cost. What I mean by that is that I see 90% of performance marketers trying to squeeze the lowest customer acquisition cost on on their performance marketing efforts, which obviously makes sense and you should do that regardless. But at a certain point, at a certain amount of scale, and at a certain level as an e-commerce brand, it is much easier to just let your front end be and then try to optimize, let's say, your average order value to actually help you scale further and scale much more profitable, because at a certain level your customer acquisition cost will become incredibly difficult to essentially optimize. Therefore, what I essentially consult with my clients is to look at how we can optimize our offers, how we can make bundles, how we can increase the perceived value. Can we potentially add a digital product in our offer that increases the perceived value and therefore also makes it easier for us to charge more than our competitors, or what we are doing currently? All of these ideas that you can take and implement as an e-commerce store to increase the perceived value of your offer whilst increasing price, that is going to obviously give you a better AOV on your front end. When we look away from obviously in-cart upsells, cross sales, and all of these things that you already have, then you can essentially scale further and much more profitable, instead of trying to lowering your customer acquisition cost and tear your hair out based on that. And obviously, I'm not saying that you don't have to do that, or you absolutely have to do that. Is a must, and you have to find angles, creatives, you know ways of driving through to the market that is going to lower your CPA. But at a certain level, it's also really beneficial that you look into how you can essentially increase your average order value, because the saying is the company that can spend the most amount of money to acquire the customer ultimately wins. So if you aren't looking into increasing your AOV and your competitor are, well, over time they will essentially crush you. So that's my third learning from 2024. My fourth learning is simple skill, complex fails. And what I mean by that is I see so many advertisers and e-commerce stores trying to keep their front end ad accounts, whatever they may be, extremely complex. But what they don't realize in doing so is that if you have a complex ad account, as an example, what you are doing is not aligning yourself with, let's say, Meta's business model, which is trying to keep the end user on the platform for as long as humanly possible. And when you have, let's say, a bunch of campaigns, some of retargeting, some are prospecting, some are DPA, all of these different campaigns in your ad account, well, what you are doing is inherently making it harder for Meta to show your ad to an audience, where that audience will engage with that ad and stay on platform, meaning that obviously you will not be an asset to Meta's business model, and you'll get worse placements on the newsfeed and also have a worsen CPM. It will become more expensive for you to advertise, compared to if you had a simple ad account focused on the offers on your front end that obviously had the best product market fit, but also the offers where you know that if a first time customer, purchases this product, I know with certainty through data that this prospect or this customer will come back 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months from now, whatever the case might be. It essentially makes it easier for you when you keep your front end simple. It also makes it easier for you to optimize your landing pages and do split test on your backend, whether that be email or you name it. And the reason for that is because when you have a simple front end where you optimize for getting the most valuable customers to your brand, and not just the customers that is going to convert based on you having a good offer and not on brand intent, you are going to make it inherently more difficult for you to test on your landing pages and your backend, because you're getting so many different customers through your door, instead of having a front end that is extremely simple, where you know that on average we are going to get this customer type, which also makes it easier for you to optimize your landing pages, offers, email flows to essentially match that specific customer type. So simple skills, complex fails. And my last point and my last learning is crafting a cost efficient funnel is paramount. When I look across my client portfolio and when I look at the brands that I'm working with that is actively prioritizing organic marketing, whether that be on TikTok, IG, some even on YouTube, I always notice that those brands have a lot easier time to scale their paid advertising efforts whilst remaining a sound customer acquisition cost, because they have found a way to build a cost efficient funnel that is obviously acquiring us top of funnel traffic, but also helping us expand our brand awareness, which makes it easier for us to scale our paid advertising efforts. If you aren't building your brand, or if you are competing with a company that are building their brand whilst you aren't, well, the company that you're competing with, your competitor, will have an unfair advantage and also have a lot easier time to scale their paid advertising efforts, because they have found a way to cost efficiently expand their funnel so that CPA, certainly doesn't start to rise at a certain amount of ad spend. So crafting a cost-efficient funnel is paramount. That's something that I'd advise all of my brands and clients to do. It is a must, I'd say, going into 2025. And the longer that I advertise for e-commerce brands, the more clear that it becomes to me that the companies that are actively, prioritizing building their brands also do the best when it comes to front end acquiring customers through advertising. So that's my last and fifth learning. And with that said, that was everything that I wanted to discuss throughout this video. Hopefully you have learned how you can optimize your own paid advertising efforts from my 5 Facebook ad learnings from 2024. And I encourage you to essentially try to include to I encourage you to try and actually take these 5 learnings and implement it in your business, because I'm sure you will see better results. With that said, that was everything for now, and speak soon in the next video. Take care.